Head coach Josh McDaniels. Broncos looking to make it 11 consecutive wins in home openers.
We talk about the energy and the emotion of Pete Carroll, but Josh McDaniels has that also. I think everybody has to understand, at its core, football is a game of emotion. We get into X's and O's and strategies a lot, but really, if you're not emotional, if you're not passionate about this game, you're never going to be good.
The Seattle Seahawks have won the toss. Pete Carroll's squad with a 31-6 victory over San Francisco last week. Matt Prater will get things started for the Broncos. Leon Washington back deep for the Seahawks.
And I think that's what all NFL fans want to find out this afternoon. Was it a great performance by the Seattle Seahawks, or did the San Francisco 49ers just go up to the Pacific Northwest and have an awful afternoon? We're going to find out pretty quick.
We are underway in Denver. Washington will not take it out. Seahawks will start from their own 20-yard line. Led out by the 12-year veteran, Matt Hasselbeck, a three-time Pro Bowl quarterback. His numbers last week threw a pick on his first pass attempt, but after that was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the rebound after that. I mean, he just got into a rhythm, and that's what this offense is about. You're going to see an up-tempo pace, and Matt Hasselbeck is one of those quarterbacks. If he gets into that rhythm, he's very difficult to defend, but he'll challenge Denver's defense with an up-tempo style of offense.
Justin Forsett in the backfield, three wide receivers, and Hasselbeck's first pass is off the fingertips of the fullback, Quinton Ganther, as we take a look at the Seahawks starting offense.
And I think a lot of it is going to hinge on Matt Hasselbeck and that passing game. Mike Williams, Deion Branch, John Carlson, they're going to be big players in this offense having success. And there's that offensive line. Now, they did a good job in protection. Stacey Andrews gets the start today at guard, but they've got to do a better job running the football.
Here's Forsett out to the 23-yard line. DJ Williams in on the tackle along with Brian Dawkins.
And here's that defense that Tony talked about at the top, and defensive coordinator Don Martindale is going to challenge these guys to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. A really, really nice linebacking core for the Denver Broncos. They'll be key in shutting down that run. And the secondary gave up 3 touchdown passes last week to David Garrard in Jacksonville, which is surprising to me. That's a talented group.
3 wide receivers for the Seahawks. 3rd down and 7. Hasselbeck calls timeout.
Nobody down on the three-point stance on that one, Darryl. Linebackers up there on the line of scrimmage. They were coming.
That's one of the things that he's going to do today. He's going to mix in the linebackers up into the front. They're going to try and confuse Matt Hasselbeck, and this is going to be challenging because he's a pretty smart quarterback. And designating where the protection should go to by putting a big guy in the linebacker level to try and confuse that protection count. Bring those linebackers up into the line and take somebody like Justin Bannon out and put him as a stand-up linebacker.
Well, 3rd and 7 is exactly where they want to be. They want to be good on first down and get to those 3rd and longs where they're a little predictable, Seattle's offense.
3 wide receivers, Mike Williams in the slot. Hasselbeck on 3rd and 7. It's caught for a first down by Deion Butler, the second-year receiver out of Penn State. Gain of 12.
Well, that's exactly what Tony was talking about. You've got your linebackers walked up in, and you got the defensive linemen coming from a distance, but it doesn't matter if you're not playing tight coverage. Deion Butler has Andre Goodman beat on the release to his inside, creates that separation that Matt Hasselbeck needs for the first down completion.
1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Hasselbeck to the air again, this time looking for his tight end, one of his favorite targets, John Carlson.
A little bit of feel for John Carlson at the top of this. He's got defenders below him, so the window is actually going to be to his inside. Now, the play is designed to be outside, but the window for Matt Hasselbeck was to the inside. You can see Andre Goodman getting there. Matt Hasselbeck couldn't throw that ball out to the left. John's got to feel that at the top of his route and get to the inside. They missed a big play right there.
Carlson over 50 receptions each of the last 2 seasons. Again, 3 wide receivers, 2nd down and 10. Seahawks keep it on the ground. Forsett out across the 38-yard line. Gain of 3 yards. So it will be 3rd down and 7.
And Seattle's got to be more productive if they're going to throw on 1st down and roll the dice and maybe get into 2nd and 10. That offensive line, this running game has to kick into gear. They can't get caught in 3rd and 7s all afternoon. It's an area that Denver struggled in with Jacksonville. It was a point of emphasis. Get them into obvious passing situations. That starts at 3rd and 7+.
Hasselbeck from the shotgun on 3rd and 7. And again, it is Deon Butler who goes up and makes the catch for a Seahawks 1st down and 20-yard pass play.
Well, they only brought 3 guys on that one too, Darryl. They had a lot of guys dropping back into coverage.
Well, that's what makes this even a harder throw. And look at Deon Butler going up and getting that ball over Parrish Cox. That's a great job. Some tight coverage out there. You're talking about Deion Branch, about Mike Williams, who had a nice game last week against San Francisco. At the start of this one, it's Deon Butler.
Here's Forsett, found a hole, stays on his feet, and picks up a Seahawks 1st down. Good second effort by Justin Forsett as he gains 14.
This is exactly what we're talking about, a finesse offense. Watch the backside. You got Justin Bannon. He comes and gets cut on the backside right here, number 97. Watch, he's down on the ground, and that goes and makes that lane right there. Okay, that's exactly what they want to do. They want to go, they want to start that to the front side, and they're looking for that cutback, getting a guy on the ground. That's exactly what the Seahawks want to do today. That's why this defense needs to go penetrate, get upfield, and stay on their feet.
From the 28-yard line of the Broncos, it's Forsett again inside the 25. Down to the 23-yard line. DJ Williams on the tackle, gain of 4 by Forsett.
And again, we've got a backside running lane, Tony. This time it's Golden Tate coming in motion, and he turns around. He's the guy that gets the seal on the contain from the backside.
Yeah, DJ Williams did a nice job also being patient and knowing that they're going to be coming back for the cutback.
Golden Tate, Darryl, you mentioned on that last play, rookie out of Notre Dame, inactive last week. So this is first regular season game. 2nd and 6. And the pass is caught and taken down to the 16-yard line by the tight end Carlson. Ryan Dawkins made the tackle, gain of 8.
Well, a couple of really nice plays by Deon Butler during the course of this drive on 3rd and 7s. And now Matt Hasselbeck and this offense are into their rhythm, and they're staying ahead of the chains. The Denver Broncos had opportunities early in this drive to get off the field defensively, and they allowed Seattle to convert.
Seahawks with 4 first downs so far in this opening drive. Much different start to the game for Seattle than last week. First carry of the day for Julius Jones, not much. Jason Hunter made the tackle as the Seahawks continue to shuffle offensive personnel.
They're trying to get that cutback lane again down. Jason Hunter does a nice job of going and sealing off the backside. They're the problems that they had last week. They didn't set an edge, and that's what they're doing today. They're going, they're looking for that backside cutback. One thing they need to do is get their hands up when Matt Hasselbeck drops to go and throw the ball. That ball's coming out fast.
Hasselbeck on 2nd and 10. Can't find anyone. He spins away, moving to his left. Now he throws, and it is Butler just outside the 10-yard line. Incomplete. So the Seahawks now facing a 3rd down and 10.
Well, Matt Hasselbeck is still trying to sell him on something over here, so let's see what the final ruling is on this. Nice job right there. Just a little spin, gets out on the edge. He's motioning guys around. Again, going for Deon Butler. Matt Hasselbeck really felt like this was a completed pass. Referees are huddled up.
Oh, he had that left foot down. The toe was down. Did he have control of the ball?
The field was that it was a catch. 3rd down.
Matt Hasselbeck's got a future in politics when he gets older.
Yes.
He got over there, started lobbying the officials. Now Josh McDaniels, he's going to be reaching into that pocket to hold on to that red flag. But we'll take a look at this.
Initially ruled an incompletion. The officials got together, changed the call.
Yeah, right foot down, drags the left foot while he has possession.
Well, good job by Walt Anderson and his crew. They got together, talked about it. So instead of 3rd and 10, it's 3rd down and 6. Hasselbeck, a pump fake. Now a sidearm throw. It's caught by Butler. His 4th reception of this drive. Good for 11 and a Seahawks first down.
All right, watch Matt Hasselbeck. This is what you have to deal with when you're going against a veteran quarterback. Watch the pump fake. Now watch this. Look at this little sidearm through that narrow little window into the middle of the field to Deion Butler.
Deion Butler does a nice job of turning around, getting the field.
All right, there's something you're going to practice all week long, Tony, and they just botched it. You're going to quick snap a personnel change, and I think Seattle jumped on offense.
Full start, number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Stacey Andrews starting at right guard for the injured Max Unger.
It's something that you see on film. You're going to match personnel. So Denver is late getting the change. Seattle's up at the line of scrimmage, ready to go. They're going to quick snap it, and Stacey Andrews doesn't stay set.
First and goal from the 6, set to the end zone, touchdown. There is a flag.
Holding, number 75, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Right tackle Sean Locklear.
You got a great individual effort by Deion Butler to get you down here first and goal. Now you've got 2 consecutive penalties. There's Sean Locklear, number 75. See the arms outside? You can't have your arms outside because that's what's going to happen when your arms are outside. If you get your hands inside, it's a battle for leverage. Shoot your hands inside. That way, when you have that movement at the point of attack, it's hard for the officials to see the holding. But when you're on the outside, if your arms are outside, it's so obvious.
So 2 consecutive penalties have forced the Seahawks back 15 yards. The pass is intended for Mike Williams. He was looking for a flag.
Oh, absolutely. Illegal contact down the field. I agree. That's why the ball was thrown behind, because it's a timing route. Matt Hasselbeck gets it out, and because of the contact, it disrupted the route. Let's watch Andre Goodman right here now beyond 5 yards. Well, you know what? I'm going to disagree. Mario Hagan, that's inside 5.
Yep. Now, when
Mike Williams landed, he was beyond 5 yards, but contact was initiated inside 5. That's a good play by Mario Hagan.
So now second and goal for Pete Carroll Seahawks. 2 tight ends set. 4 set in the backfield. Hasselbeck on second and goal. He throws, and it is picked off by Champ Bailey. So the Seahawks held the ball for over 6 minutes. They drove to the 1, 2 penalties forced them back, and then a pick.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Back in Denver, 47th career interception for the 9-time Pro Bowler Champ Bailey. So for the 2nd consecutive week, Hasselbeck throws a pick on the Seahawks' first drive last week on the first play. Todd Orton on first down, handing off to Noshawn Moreno, who tried to turn the corner, but could not. Hit initially by Brandon Meebane, loss of 1.
Nice job by the defensive line of stringing him all the way down the line of scrimmage, going and getting the offensive lineman, running with him, not giving him anywhere to go and cut up into.
And there's that offensive line. A couple of rookies in the mix. Zane Beadles gets the 2nd start of the season for Ryan Harris, who's still out.
And Russ Hochstein replaces the injured Chris Cooper at right guard as well. On second down and 11, it's Moreno again. Now across the 10-yard line to the 11, gain of 8. Lofa-Tatupu made the tackle. It will be 3rd down and 3 for the Broncos.
A little bit of change with this defense. Brandon Meebane, Colin Cole, Red Bryant, big guys up front, all around 320. That's different for Seattle this season. Lofa-Tatupu, he's the guy that coordinates everything, but this defense, real hard to run on. Earl Thomas, well, I tell you what, Seattle got him as their safety, and even Denver coveted him in the draft. Pete Carroll had nothing but great things to say about him.
Seahawks defensively terrific on 3rd down last week. On 3rd and 3, and the catch is made for a first down by Jabbar Gaffney, gain of 8 out to the 19-yard line.
You know, you talked about that defensive line with those big guys. You didn't get the memo, did you, Darryl?
What's that?
Big is in now.
Big is in?
Big is in, baby. You know, the bigger the better.
There you go. Look at him. I mean, that is so much different than what Seattle's defensive front has been in the past. So, you know, we mentioned 3 of the 4. That means Chris Clements, who is really a pass rush specialist for the Philadelphia Eagles, look for Denver to try and attack that left defensive end spot.
Tony would feel right at home amongst that group. Orton complete to Moreno, and he takes it out to the 32-yard line for another Broncos first down. Gain of 12.
That's it. Finding the sticks right there, Darryl.
Yeah, I tell you, no Sean Moreno. He came out. He was ready to go today. He will get down inside. He's on the backside that time. Play going away. Here's the throwback. Now, no Sean Moreno, when he came out of the tunnel today in pregame, went right through the middle of the Seattle team as they were going through stretch. He's ready to play this afternoon.
Moreno replaced in the backfield by Carell Buckhalter. First and 10 from the 32-yard line. This is Buckhalter, the former Philadelphia Eagle. Out to the 36, gain of 4. Lawyer Malloy made the tackle.
Stanley Daniels does a nice job of coming around on the pull, leading up through that hole.
And that's a hard thing to do. We've talked about those big bodies in Seattle's defensive front to be able to hold that penetration down. It puts a lot of pressure on J.D. Walton to get that cutoff block, the center, to allow Stanley Daniels, that left guard, to get around.
Second down and 6. Buckhalter remains in the backfield. Broncos acquired Lawrence Maroney from New England this week. He is inactive due to a thigh injury. Off the play fake to Buckhalter. Orton was looking for Jabbar Gaffney, incomplete.
A great coverage by Marcus Trufant, because Kyle Orton had me. That was a great ball fake. Watch the play fake by Kyle Orton. It's that stretch play. You're going to the outside. Watch him sell this all the way to the top. Watch the reach, the reach, the reach. I expected this to be a lot more open on the backside to Jabbar Gaffney. Good coverage by Marcus Trufant.
Orton from the gun on 3rd down and 8. With time, he throws, and it's off the hands of Gaffney, the intended receiver. So the Broncos send out the punting unit.
A little bit high, but Jabbar Gaffney's got to make that catch. Got to move the chains.
Kyle had a lot of time, too, in that pocket. Watch right here. He's not under pressure at all. Like you said, Darryl, it was a little bit high, but he had the time to go and make a better throw than that.
So the Broncos pick up a couple of first downs. Punt by Colquitt is bobbled by Thurmond. And it's recovered inbounds by the Broncos. Cassius Vaughn came up with it. Walter Thurmond, the rookie 4th-round pick out of Oregon, lost the football. Broncos get it right back in terrific field position.
It's so difficult to win a game in the NFL. You can't make mistakes. Right through the hands, off the knee. Walter Thurmond working hard. Good hustle by Cassius Vaughn to get down there. Look at, he's the only Bronco in the mix. You never know when your opportunity to make a play is going to be there.
Cassius Vaughn, the undrafted rookie out of Ole Miss. Terrific special teams player. Seahawks commit their 2nd turnover of this first quarter. From the Seattle 13. Orton with time, dumps it off. Moreno. And he's down at the 8, gain of 5.
Well, this is where Seattle's defense really saved the day for the whole team last week against San Francisco. San Francisco controlled the game the entire first quarter and a half, and this Seattle defense was able to hold them to just 6 points, 3 times inside the 10-yard line, and they held them to 6 points on those 3 possessions.
Three receivers bunch to the right. 2nd down and 5. blown dead.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Broncos took too much time. There's Walter Thurmond, who committed the turnover moments ago. And the rookie center, J.D. Walton, out of Baylor, wearing a microphone for us today, along with Seahawks center Chris Spencer. Let's listen. Second and 10 following the penalty. Orton throws behind Brandon Lloyd. Kelly Jennings on the coverage.
Well, you hear a lot of people talk about the NFL being a copycat league, and here's something that Seattle is looking for as many times as they can get it today. One-on-one coverage with Brandon Lloyd on the outside, and what they're going to do, they got this from New Orleans. They watched over 100 snaps last year. Only 3 times was the defender able to make a play on the ball, and there was not one interception in the tape that Josh McDaniels watched. Kyle Orton, when he gets one-on-one on the outside, will just throw the ball towards the two players and allow Brandon Lloyd to go up and make a play.
Here's Orton on 3rd down and 10. Looking, he throws, and it is a touchdown. Rolling into the end zone with it, Eddie Royal.
Heads up play by Eddie Royal. You go down low to pick it up, but nobody's there to touch you. Just start rolling. You don't have to be.
Yards too, it all counts right there.
Yep.
13 yards from Orton to Royal. Chance of Eddie from the crowd here in Denver as the Broncos capitalize following the second Seahawks turnover. Matt Prater adding the extra point. Broncos for the 7-0 lead. Josh McDaniels is fired up.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Back in Denver on a 92-degree afternoon. Broncos lead 7-0. There's Eddie Royal, who rolled into the end zone following the second Seahawks turnover.
Well, this is an area that Josh McDaniels was not happy with last week. His kickoff coverage, they gave Jacksonville good starting field position several times. Not a question out here today. Well, you hear teams talk about it all the time. We can't beat ourselves. It's about us. Right now, Seattle losing points in the red zone and then giving up points after turnovers.
Today's game is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. By the new Ford Edge, the world has never seen a crossover quite like this. And by DirecTV. Watch your favorite team wherever you live, only on DirecTV.
Seahawks put together a terrific opening drive. They drove 14 plays all the way down to the 1-yard line of the Broncos, but then 2 penalties forced them back. And then Matt Hasselbeck intercepted by Champ Bailey. Seahawks turned it over again after forcing the Broncos to punt. So now Seattle trailing by 7, starting from their own 20-yard line. Hasselbeck's throw out of bounds, intended for the tight end Carson, as we check in for the first time with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt.
Lions down 35-17. Now the comeback. Sean Hill, touchdown pass to Calvin Johnson, and yes, they counted a touchdown this time. They get a 2-point conversion and recover the onside kick. Down by 3 with a minute and a half left. But Philadelphia has just stopped them on down, so it looks like that comeback will fall just a bit short, barring a miracle. Kenny Moose and Goose?
Wild cards of the Lions involved in a couple of wild endings over the first 2 weeks. On 2nd and 10 off the play fake. Hasselbeck rolls right and then dumps it off to John Carlson, his tight end. And he's hit by Robert Ayers after picking up 6, setting up a 3rd down and 4. As Chris Spencer, we mentioned the centers are wearing microphones for us today.
Yeah, and you're going to see where it's positioned right there in the front. Back shoulders. I would put it there because, number one, you're closer to the quarterback, you get that audio, but if you're going up against a guy like Tony Siragusa and you've got it in the front, the likelihood of it getting squished or ripped off
That's true.
With the potential of maybe an inadvertent hand getting some jersey and some shoulder pad.
I can't fight you on that, bro. I can't fight you.
Hasselbeck on 3rd down and 4, and the catch is made for a first down by Deion Branch out at the 32-yard line, gain of 6.
They're doing a nice job on 3rd downs this afternoon to start this game. The thing they're doing, they're staying ahead of the chain, so it's giving them a lot of options. Deion Branch does a nice job fighting all the way through the coverage, getting into the middle of the field. Matt Hasselbeck, very poised in the pocket, delivers a nice ball.
Jeremy Bates, Seahawks offensive coordinator, 1st and 10, 32-yard line. Up the middle, Jones, Dawkins the tackle, gain of 6. And getting back to the microphones for a second, if Tony were on the field across from the center, we probably would not be able to use the audio.
Yeah, that's true too.
I can't agree. I can't fight that one either.
But you would have some great conversation. I've heard some stories.
What's nice is that they could put it in those piles. You know, so many people ask you about, what happens in the pile? Then we wouldn't have to say anything. We just go and turn the mic on and let them go and enjoy it themselves.
I don't know if they'd enjoy hearing it.
Better to listen to feel what goes on down there.
Ball start, number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And Stacey Andrews again.
Yeah, a new addition, but it's inexcusable. You've got a new quarterback. You were in Philadelphia throughout training camp. You end up in Seattle, so the cadence is going to be different than what he's used to. But he was the first penalty in the red zone that started that whole sequence of plays where you've got back-to-back red zone penalties that lead to an interception.
Tell you what, looking at Stacey Andrews from down here, he's bigger than his tackle. I know he plays both positions. That's a big guard right there.
3rd penalty against the Seahawks offensive line. Here's Jones. Out to the 36. Marcus Thomas made the tackle, gain of 3.
Tony, that's one of the things that we'll have to keep an eye on today, too. We talked about defensively how big Seattle's gotten up front. You talked about the size of Stacey Andrews. Kenny mentioned we're 92 degrees, and we're at elevation here.
It's a little hotter than 92 down here, Darryl. They get the camera over near me. I have a thermometer right next to me. Over 100. Little warm down here.
Seahawks today 4 for 4 on 3rd down. Penalty marker, 3rd and 6 as Hasselbeck tried to run and is brought down back at the 33-yard line.
Illegal shift. Wide receiver and the right tackle on the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So you had 2 guys in motion at the same time. Now, as the wide receiver coming in, if you see your tackle was moving while you were going in motion, then you've just got to stop and reset yourself. Make sure you're set for a second. Obviously, there was a miscue, but you can fix that as the guy on the outside if you're paying attention.
So the penalty was declined. Jarvis Moss with the sack. Harris Cox awaiting the punt from John Ryan. Final minute, 1st quarter here in Denver. Ryan punting from his own 23-yard line. Good hang time, taken back at the 16 by Cox. And he's tripped up, stumbles out of bounds after a return of just 3 yards. 51-yard punt by Ryan. Back in a moment. The National League pennant race is heading for an amazing finish this October. The 4 best teams will collide in a month of games filled with drama, excitement, and thrills. Coverage of baseball's postseason returns October 16th with the NLCS, followed by the World Series on Fox. Broncos start from the 19-yard line as Orton's pass is caught out at the 23-yard line by Moreno. Gain of 4. And that takes us to the end of the 1st quarter in Denver. Seahawks 2 first quarter turnovers. Broncos lead 7-0. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages from your local station.
Okay, so what kind of car should I get? Definitely something with 4 doors. New or used? Used. It's gotta be black.
Now compare new and used cars and even special offers side by side.
Now that's a good deal.
So when you find the right car,
That's the one.
there won't be any doubt in your mind. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
$5.50.
Hey, sandwich lady. Chicken flatbread sandwich for under $1. So...
It's under $1 and not everyone's happy about it. The new chicken flatbread sandwich. Warm flatbread, melty cheese, and flame-grilled chicken. Only at Taco Bell.
You're watching Fox NFL Sunday.
Want thrills?
We're in.
We've got them with two of TV's most thrilling mysteries.
Wow, I'm down with that.
Bones is back. Two partners, one complication.
I'm Temperance Brennan. I've heard a lot about you. I assumed.
Then enter the Fringe universe for TV's ultimate adventure.
Is he okay? Well, he's Walter. Define okay.
Bones and Fringe. The new season begins at 8/7 Central. The thrill is on Fox Thursday. Want thrills?
We're in.
We've got them with two of TV's most thrilling mysteries.
Wow, I'm down with that.
Bones is back. Two partners, one complication.
I'm Temperance Brennan. I've heard a lot about you. I assumed.
Then enter the Fringe universe for TV's ultimate adventure.
Is he okay? Well, he's Walter. Define okay.
Bones and Fringe. The new season begins at 8/7 Central. The thrill is on Fox Thursday.
Well, Goose, it's now 120 on the field.
I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of wind, and the heat coming off this this grass right here. It's hot on the field. Oof.
Second down and 6 for the Broncos as we begin the second quarter, and the catch is made for a first down by Brandon Lloyd, who had a terrific game last week, 117 yards against the Jaguars. He gains 25 on this play.
And a lot of plays similar to that one right there, and it goes back to the one we talked about earlier in the game. If you give them one-on-one coverage to Brandon Lloyd, Kyle Orton's just going to come out and take it.
Brandon Lloyd does a great job of not giving the defender any idea that that ball's coming, too. Very cool until that ball gets right next to him, gets his hands out, and brings it in.
Here's Moreno on first down across midfield. And Moreno takes it all the way down to the 42-yard line. Looks to be just short of the Broncos' first down.
And that's one of the things that Pete Carroll did say about Earl Thomas, the safety for the Seattle Seahawks. Watch as he comes up to tackle Noshawn Moreno, who's been running hard already all day today. Here's the contact. Boom. All right, head down, going for a big hit. You would like to see Earl use a little bit better technique. Keep that head up, see what you hit. But I tell you, Noshawn got down low. He didn't give him much to put a helmet onto.
180! Buckhalter in the backfield, second down and 1. This is Buckhalter, and he picks up a Broncos first. Kurt Menefee, what's going on with the Rams and the Raiders?
Well, all those new faces in Seattle, so their fans can identify with this. Rookie quarterback Sam Bradford to new pickup Mark Clayton, 7-yard touchdown, and Rams lead the Raiders 7-0 in the second quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose, so far, Bradford 6 for 6, 98 yards in that score.
I tell you, I've been impressed with Sam Bradford. You know, a little bit hesitant with the #1 overall pick in the draft with those shoulder injuries, but he has really taken off since about week 3 in the preseason. He's been on a roll.
Close game last week, the loss of the Cardinals. Again, a terrific second effort by Moreno. Takes it down to the 36-yard line, and this time Thomas able to bring him down after a pickup of 4.
But again, very effective on first down. If you can get 4 yards on a run on first down, that's exactly what you were scripting as you were getting ready for the game during the course of the week.
Noshawn Moreno missed the preseason after suffering a hamstring injury in the first drill during training camp. He told us he's continued with his treatment. Said as long as I keep it moving, it feels good. Here's Moreno on the move once again, and he is upended by Colin Cole after a gain of just 1. So a 3rd and 5 coming up for the Broncos, who lead 7-0. Seahawks committing 2 first-quarter turnovers. Seattle had the ball for close to 10 minutes in that first quarter.
Yeah, but you can't beat yourself, especially red zone penalties. I mean, the interception was a result of the 2 penalties previous to that interception thrown by Matt Hasselbeck. I mean, your goal to go inside the 2-yard line.
3rd down and 5. The toss to Moreno. The throw back to Orton. Some trickery from Josh McDaniels. Wide open, Eddie Royal. He dives and was ruled down at the 1.
Eddie Royal got some speed.
I tell you, Goose, this is a really nice design play, though. They send Brandon Lloyd across the top. He's going to cross your screen coming this way. They're going to sneak Eddie Royal from the backside. Here he comes, number 19. Watch him pop into your picture. Now you've got 3 Seahawk defenders running with Brandon Lloyd on the opposite side of the field. He beats Lawyer Malloy, and then it's just a foot race. And as you talked about it, Goose, he was motoring.
He's got a different gear. Watch right there. Boom, he kicks it in.
Broncos with 3 tight ends, and now the challenge flag has been thrown.
I wonder if they want to take a look and see if that ball was thrown backwards by Noshawn Moreno to Kyle Orton.
By the way, Moreno looked to be shaken up on that play. He came out. Now looks to be back on his feet. There he is.
Seattle is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was down by contact.
The ball came loose from Eddie Royal. Perhaps Pete Carroll thought Royal lost the football before he was down. Walt Anderson will take a look at it.
Well, we checked the lateral. That was definitely thrown backwards. You'll see here, Noshawn Moreno, it's going to be a good 3 yards back. So this is a legal play on the lateral back to Kyle Orton. Now, what Pete Carroll is trying to challenge, he wanted to make sure that Eddie Royal was down by contact. If this ball is fumbled into the end zone, it's 1st and 10, Seattle at their 20-yard line if he's not down by contact. You see the lunge right there by Aaron Curry. He gets a hand on Eddie Royal, right on his foot. So let's go back. We'll take a look. Or it's Lawyer Malloy as he comes in. Watch as he reaches right there. You see right there. He makes contact. That's what trips up Eddie Royal. So he's going to be down. Now, the ball fumbled through the end zone. What Pete Carroll was hoping is that he was not down by contact. If he was not down by contact, then it would be 1st and 10 Seattle at the 20-yard line because this ball went through the end zone and not out the sideline.
So referee Walt Anderson has taken a look at a couple of different replays. Pete Carroll won his only challenge last week in the game against San Francisco.
The ruling on the field stands. Seattle will be charged with its second timeout.
So Walt Anderson upholding the call on the field. Due to the contact from Royal Malloy, Eddie Royal ruled down by contact. No fumble. First and goal on the 1.
It's a game of inches, Goose, in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if you don't get a hand, if Laurie Malloy does not get a hand on Eddie Royal, it's a completely different scenario.
Might have been a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. We wouldn't be having this debate.
Moreno back in. This is Moreno. And a good push by the Seahawks defense. Second and goal coming up.
Impressed last week watching this Seattle front versus Frank Gore. And Frank Gore he really had some big afternoons against this Seattle defense in the past, going over 200 yards a couple of times. This is a different front that you're going to be running against when you play the Seahawks this season. They are big up front.
Yeah, they hold that offensive line up really well.
Second and goal from just outside the 1. Orton to the end zone. He was looking for the tight end, Daniel Graham.
Daniel Graham, your tight end. Quick release. I always like to see him engage with the block a little bit more. That can give you a little bit more separation from number 59, Aaron Curry, in that situation. If he sees you just kind of lock up for a second on that defensive lineman, his gaze is going to shift for a split second. But when you get that clean release off the line of scrimmage, he's going to lock onto you.
3 wide receivers bunched to the left. Now Lloyd comes in motion. On third and goal, Buckhalter, touchdown.
Seattle did on that play, not taking anything away from Denver, but they took a lot of the big guys out on defense and went with a 3-man front.
Yeah, you see right there.
I mean, look at this whole area right here.
You change your personnel. Seattle decides to match even down close, and Denver decides to run the ball in.
Play to the extra point. First touchdown of the season for Carell Buckhalter. Broncos now lead 14-0.
Game is sponsored by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By Cadillac, the new standard of the world. And by Burger King. Have it your way.
Denver Broncos have scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions.
Let's take a look back here. You got Lofa Tatupu right here, the linebacker, standing up, going against Stanley Daniels, the left guard. Now this is a mismatch. Lofa Tatupu is standing up. Boom, he comes in, he locks on him. He cannot make that play, not on the 1-yard line. They need to keep those big guys back in there. Do you agree, Darryl?
Absolutely, Goose. Let's just do a little bit of math here real quick. The 3 guys that went out, total weight 962. The 3 guys that came in, 735. You're giving up over 230 pounds right in the center guard area. So Denver just comes out, shows you personnel. You match, they audible at the line. Why throw it? We can run it right up the middle for 7.
Back in Denver, 14-0 Broncos. Be sure to tune in next week. Many of you will see the Lions and Vikings early, and then the Redskins and Rams late. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with the Ford Fox NFL pregame show brought to you by the all-new Ford Edge Drive One.
Now you look at some of the early season surprises. 2-0 Chicago, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Dallas, and that Minnesota Viking team that plays the Lions next week. And if they're not ready, they might be 0-3.
Forsett bottled up on first down. Seahawks a 14-play drive to start the game, but then they turned it over. They've run 9 plays since then, Darryl, for negative yardage.
Well, it was just the complete start of the game last week against San Francisco where they didn't play well. They came out today, had that great opening drive, but it all comes down to efficiency in the red zone. That interception, the result of 2 penalties on the Seattle Seahawks once they got to the red zone. And here's the fumble recovery by Cassius Vaughn. Great hustle play. You never know when it's going to be your opportunity to help your team out. They score a touchdown after that. So Seattle gives up points, potential points in the red zone with the interception, and then allows the Denver Broncos to get back on the field in their end to gain some points. Big turn of events early in the first quarter.
Second down and 11. Hasselbeck, a pump fake. Then he throws over the middle. It's complete to the tight end, Carlson, out at the 27-yard line. Time for another game break. We check in with Kurt.
Well, San Diego hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Phillip Rivers picking up with his tight end, as he has done so many times. 61st touchdown for Antonio Gates. And the Chargers lead Jacksonville 14-3. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, Kurt, Chargers coming off the loss to Kansas City on Monday night. 3rd down and 3. And Forsett picks up a first down and more on the inside handoff. Takes it all the way up to the 46-yard line. Needed 3, gained 19.
Well, some other things are going wrong for Seattle right now, but the one thing that's working well for them is their running game. Much improved over last week. Nice little cross up on the inside. Stacey Andrews coming down on the down block, pulling the center out and around.
That offensive line is doing a great job of staying on those defenders up front and not letting them go and come off and make those tackles. And seams will be there if that's to keep that up.
Off the play fake. Pass is caught by the former 49er, Michael Robinson. And Robinson takes it into Broncos territory, gain of 7.
Well, the one thing that this Seattle team is not going to do under Pete Carroll's guidance is quit. The one thing that he always preaches is always compete, always compete. Jeremy, right there, the offensive coordinator, Jeremy Bates, is he's going to stay with this. You know, they had that great first drive. Don't give up. Don't get frustrated. And that's the mantra that Pete Carroll has been telling his team since he took over. We're always going to compete.
On 2nd and 3, the handoff to Leon Washington, his first carry. Mason Hunter, Ronald Fields on the tackle. Washington stopped just shy of the first down marker.
Just to explain a little bit, I mean, it's easy to say, well, yeah, always compete. Everybody should on the football field. But here's what Coach Carroll does on Wednesdays. You know, when they get together and they practice on Wednesday, it's competition Wednesday. And they go ones versus ones. They don't even really look at the upcoming opponent. You know, they're competing against each other, and he'll actually feature a different matchup during the course of the day, and they'll put cameras on that and watch it as a team when they get together after practice. So Wednesday is really just about Seattle. Let's see how we're competing against each other.
And starters against starters. Washington just short.
That's the thing we talked about at the top, having the conviction of what you believe in, and he believes that he buys into it. We're going to get a great chance here. We're going to lay out a little bit and let you listen to the competition down here. 3rd and inches.
Looking to throw on 3rd down, and the pass is high. He was looking for Dion Butler.
Yeah, the punt team's not coming on.
Well, that's about as finesse as you can get, Darryl.
No, I love it, Goose. I love it. You know you're not punting. You're going to take a shot at the big play down the field. He actually had Dion Butler open. It's just a bad throw by Matt Hasselbeck.
Yeah, but you just got to cross the 50. You know, you're down by 2 scores. I mean, your run game is being effective. Go for it, get back to first down and keep going. Here they go again now.
4th and inches. Hasselbeck on the sneak. And he has the first down on the second effort. Hasselbeck told us last night he always talks about going for it on 4th down.
Well, they had a plan. They came into it. It's the preparation, knowing what you're going to do. And Tony talked about the spot on the field. You look at them, they're just inside the 45-yard line. But there was absolutely no hesitation when they missed the shot on 3rd down. Pete Carroll knew that if they didn't connect for the big play on 3rd down, we're going for it on 4th.
From the Broncos 43, the handoff to Michael Robinson. And he picks up a first down and more. Takes it all the way to the Broncos 28, 15 yards for the former Penn State quarterback, Michael Robinson.
Looks like they totally went away from that zone blocking up front, Darryl, and now they're just man-to-man, you know, matching up. And That Seattle offensive line is really manhandling that Denver defensive line.
Well, attacking that 3-4 defense on the inside. I agree, Tony. They're not looking to run on the edge with that zone scheme. They're coming downhill right between the guards.
From the Broncos 28, play action. Hasselbeck throws, and it is picked off. Brian Dawkins, the third Seahawks turnover today.
Well, he's got John Carlson, very similar to the play they had Deion Butler on the 3rd and inches. Matt Hasselbeck needs to get this out in front more. He allows the interception by Brian Dawkins.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
Broncos leading 14-0. Seahawks commit their 3rd turnover. Brian Dawkins making his 200th National Football League start. His 37th career pick. Broncos start from their own 7-yard line. This is Moreno. Takes it out to the 12, wrapped up by Chris Clemens.
Let's go back and take a look at this interception. I want you to look where Matt Hasselbeck ends up. He's 2 yards in front of that line marker right there. He's back at 10 yards right there. That allows Jason Hunter to come around the corner and affect that throw. So I've not really seen, even with a hard play action and getting back into the pocket, it looked like Matt was just a little bit deep there. He's 10 yards when he plants that back foot. That allows Jason Hunter to get around that edge at some depth and be able to impact that throw.
2nd down and 5. Moreno up the middle. Down at the 16, about a yard shy of the marker. As we check in on the Jets and the Patriots with Kurt Menefee.
It took 6 quarters, but the Jets offense finally gets its first touchdown. Mark Sanchez, 10 yards to Braylon Edwards for the score. And the Jets and Patriots all tied at 7 late in the 2nd quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
I still think that the Jet fans may be one of the more overreacting fans around the country. Let's not lose sight of the fact that they only lost by 1 point to Baltimore. I mean, everybody's ready to throw the Jets under the bus. They did not play well, but they still only lost by 1 point.
10-9 loss on Monday night on 3rd down and 1. Buckhalter.
Got to get those feet up, Carell. He just got tripped up.
It will depend on the spot. Our yellow line, of course, is unofficial.
He's right at the yellow line.
Playing in Seattle, getting a measurement, a little extra time for that defensive line. I mean, look at these guys. These guys right now are loving, okay, getting a little extra time to get some wind back. You know, we didn't talk about it yet in the telecast, but the wind is, the air up here is, you know, mile high, little thin, but it's nice to get a break as a D lineman, I'll tell you.
Bit of a problem with the chains.
The Seattle players didn't block some links on him, did they, Goose?
Sprinkler head.
The umpire, Bill Schuster, and by the nose of the football, it is a Broncos first down. Goose talked about the altitude here in Denver. You played in the city a couple of times as well. How was it from the offensive side?
One time early in the season on a day like this where it was warm, and then one time late in the season when it was cold. You do feel it, but it's like playing in the heat in Dallas. You know, you just get there, you fight through it, and it is what it is. You're not going to be able to train for it and get yourself ready. So you just come up here, you make sure you hydrate yourself, especially on a day like today. You got to drink a ton of water when you get to elevation, and hopefully Seattle was doing that, because that's one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself to make sure that you're good the entire 60 minutes of the game.
1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. Moreno met initially by Red Bryant. Goose, what about you? When you played here in Denver, were you huffing and puffing?
Well, you know, I hate to say it, but yeah, you know, my best friend here was the guy who ran the oxygen machine. I used to give him a little bit of a tip and make sure he saved a little extra for me, because it, you know, all the running you could do, you can't go and prepare, like Darryl said, for being this high up here. I mean, it's thin. I mean, I walked up a couple stairs before, was a little winded, but I won't get into that right now.
We'll check back with you after halftime. We'll have a little bit of a break, Goose. 2nd down and 10. Off the play fake, or complete to his tight end, Graham. Nowhere to go. And he's tackled by Aaron Curry back at the 13-yard line, a loss of 4.
Defensive line did a great job of sniffing out this little screen right here. Watch Seattle's defenders. Lofa to Tupu. I think he's actually telling them, watch out for the screen. They go, they sell it pretty good. Look at all these guys. Look at them running to the ball. Darryl, you talked about it earlier. When that ball comes out, if you're a defender and you're running to the ball, that's when things are going to happen.
And that was all your big guys, Goose.
Big boys are running.
Cole, Red Bryant, Brandon Mebane, and all the big guys running.
Told you that measurement helped him out a lot.
On 3rd down and 14, first NFL reception for the rookie out of Georgia Tech, Demaryius Thomas, who did not play throughout the preseason, was inactive last week, and he gains 19.
A little bubble screen onto the outside. They've only got 2 defenders out there. Some good blocks by his teammates to spring him straight up the field. We saw him at practice at Friday. He is big. 6'2", 6'3", 230 pounds. There weren't receivers like that playing in the NFL when I was there.
Josh McDaniels very excited about Thomas. He said he's the Broncos' fastest player and obviously a big target. From the 31, off the play fake. Orton with time. He fires, and it is Thomas again. There's a late flag in Seahawks territory. Looked like a late hit by Tupu after a gain of 20.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 51, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the big key in the NFL is separation. And Demaryius Thomas, who we talked about, 6'3", 229, the bottom of the screen, the fastest player on the Bronco team. But look at him get out of that cut. At 6'3", 230 pounds, to be able to get out of that cut that quick is impressive.
You see those big defensive linemen after 2 screens and having to run sideline to sideline. Looks like they don't have much gas left back in them.
Thomas split to the right. Following the penalty, 1st and 10 from the Seattle 36. This is Moreno. And Moreno loses the football, but fortunately for the Broncos, it rolls out of bounds. So the Broncos on the move. They lead the Seahawks 14-0, 2-minute warning.
Today's.
Well, a forward fumble out of bounds comes back to the spot of the fumble. There's no Sean Marino. The fumble goes forward out of bounds. Back in the day, they would have retained possession where the ball went out of bounds, but now we're bringing it back, and that goes back to the Dave Casper play, the Oakland Raiders against my beloved Chargers at the time, Dolphins back in the day, and what a disastrous play. I know that we've got it up there as one of the crazy plays in history, but I didn't like it.
Back in 1978, 2nd down and 3. Pass a bit short, intended for Buckhalter. $14-0 lead for the Broncos. Morton with a touchdown pass to Eddie Royal. 36 yards on the ground for Moreno. Buckhalter with the other Denver score. 3rd down and 3. Orton fires, and the catch is made for a first down at the 19-yard line. 3rd reception of this drive for Demaryius Thomas, gain of 9.
He's showing you he can do a little bit of everything. He's not just a big guy on the outside that can run. He can come into the field of play and work the middle of the field as well.
3 catches, 47 yards for Thomas. The 11th play of the drive upcoming.
Hey, we'll tell you.
4 wide receivers from the 18-yard line. Orton looks left, he throws, and the catch is made and taken inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line by Thomas once again. So Demaryius Thomas has become the go-to guy for the Broncos during this drive. Remember, the Seahawks have only 1 timeout. They called one early and then lost one on a challenge.
the way Demaryius Thomas is playing right now, and after the week that Brandon Lloyd had last week against Jacksonville, and then you've got Eddie Royal working the slot. Pretty good group of wide receivers for the Broncos.
Here's Moreno on 2nd and 1. Tackled at the 6-yard line. And the Broncos will use their first timeout with 30 seconds remaining in the first half here in Denver. Broncos lead the Seahawks 14-0. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. We'll have scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker will have all the latest stats. That's coming up on the Visa halftime report. Broncos have scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions. First and goal from the 7. To Eddie Royal. And Royal takes it down to the 3-yard line. And the Broncos will use their second timeout with 24 seconds on the clock.
That's a nice job by Eddie Royal getting 4 yards out of that. Looked like Seattle had it sniffed out and defended pretty well, but that's just a great individual effort.
Well, last season ended with a bombshell. Tomorrow night on Fox, House returns with an all-new season of shocks, surprises, and a premiere that will have everyone talking. Prepare for complications. It's the season premiere of House tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central on Fox. This is the Broncos house, and they've gone 23-3 in their last 26 home openers, including having won the last 10.
Well, that's impressive. And you know, Tony's talked, this time of year when you're talking about a home opener, it can be warm like it is today. We've seen the thermometer up over 120 degrees down on the field. You're battling the elevation regardless. And then you've got this crowd. Pretty tough combination of things working against the visitors.
Second and goal, 2 tight ends set. Broncos with 1 timeout remaining. The give to Moreno, and he is stopped at the 2. Earl Thomas along with Aaron Curry. So the Broncos use their final timeout with 19 seconds remaining.
Well, they were able to score earlier in the game when they got down on the goal line, got some of those big guys out of that front. This time, Seattle doesn't make the mass substitution. Denver shows them a formation and a personnel group that could be pass. Seattle doesn't match that time. They're able to stuff the run.
So the Broncos out of timeouts. 3rd and goal upcoming. How about Michael Vick, 284 yards in the air, 2 touchdown passes, and the Eagles win over the Lions. Packers and Aaron Rodgers defeat the Bills 34-7, and the former Bronco Jay Cutler with 3 touchdown passes in the Chicago Bears win over the Dallas Cowboys.
Let me tell you, Jay Cutler could have a breakout season this year. We were all thinking he was going to have it last year, plagued by interceptions and bad decisions. Mike Martz has made a big impact on him so far through the first 2 weeks.
There's Orton on 3rd and goal, looking end zone, he throws, and the pass is incomplete. It was a bit low, intended for Buckhalter, so the Broncos will send out the field goal unit.
A little bit low, but I think that Correll Buckhalter feels he can make that catch. Maybe, no. You know what? From here, it looked like it was just low, but that one was actually out in front of him. He tried to reach and pull it back in. Josh McDaniels close.
So Matt Prater, who hit from 54 last week, out to attempt a 20-yard field goal. Broncos drove 16 plays, 91 yards, but could not reach the end zone. Prater from 20, it is good. And the Broncos take advantage of another Seahawks turnover. They now lead Seattle by the score of 17-0. We'll be back, 11 seconds to go in the half. Good first half for the Denver Broncos. They've scored 10 points off turnovers. Seahawks have turned it over 3 times. Broncos lead 17-0.
And Seattle just kind of self-destructing this afternoon. They were able to weather the storm last week against San Francisco. Their defense was able to hold San Francisco to 6 points until that offense got on track, but not the case today.
Prater keeping it along the ground. Scooped up at the 10 by Washington. And Leon Washington is tackled at the 24-yard line by Joe Mays with 5 seconds remaining in this first half. Broncos have won 10 straight home openers, a streak that began in 2000. Broncos and Seahawks were division rivals back then. Pete Carroll was out of coaching. And Josh McDaniels was just 1 year out of John Carroll University.
I mean, to do anything for 10 years in a row is impressive, and especially to get a great start off to your season. So that's a pretty impressive statistic for the Denver Broncos here at home.
Well, they are halfway to making it 11 in a row. Broncos leading the Seahawks 17-0 at the half. We'll return to Denver after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. All right, thanks very much, Kurt. Kurt and the gang discussing turnovers. Seahawks -3 in the first half.
And Pete Carroll talked to us when he was at USC 53-0 when they were just +1. Jimmy Johnson's talking about this weekend -3, -4, -3 in our game in the first half. Tennessee -7, 7 turnovers. You're never going to win football games playing that sloppily. And we talked about it in the first half. It is so hard to win a game in the NFL. You can't have these types of mistakes. And I agree with Michael Strahan. A lot of people felt good about the fact that they were able to hang in there last week against San Francisco and come back. That was something they struggled with the year before. Can they do that today, this afternoon?
Paris Cox on the return for the Broncos, and he is hemmed in. Taken down at the 5. Terrific coverage on special teams by the Seahawks. Now, you mentioned the statistic, 53-0 at USC when there was a positive turnover ratio, and Matt Hasselbeck told us that is the only statistic that Pete Carroll has mentioned to his Seahawks club from his USC days.
And one of the first things he talked to us about with that San Francisco game was we won the turnover battle. That's the key ingredient in the NFL. It correlates directly with victories. And again, it's mistakes. And they got into trouble in the red zone with 2 penalties that forced them into a passing situation. They just, very inopportune. But if you look at it, they've had a couple of nice drives through the course of the first half. Just eliminate your big mistakes. And if your defense can hold and slow down Denver, maybe you can claw yourself back into this game.
Moreno gaining 2 out to the 7-yard line on first down as we take a look, Darryl, at the first half numbers.
Well, nothing's really going to matter except that turnover margin. And you see the points off of the time of possession relatively equal, but, the big mistakes, the critical mistakes, giving up points because you're turning the ball over in your red zone, and then you've turned one over on a special teams miscue to give the points directly.
Off the play fake, the catch is made by the fullback, Spencer Larson, who was ruled down. His second reception of the season.
I don't know if they should have blew that whistle right there.
Let's take a look at it.
Kelly Jennings, the tackle.
No, his knee does not touch the ground.
If he was a halfback, he'd have gotten that call, Tony, but I figured the fullback's not athletic enough to stay off the ground.
He's too big. Something had to hit the ground.
Came down on top of the body of Kelly Jennings. But as you guys said, the knee did not hit the ground. Now 3rd down and 4. Opening drive of the second half for the Broncos, who lead 17-0. Orton with time over the middle. Nice catch by Lloyd. He had to reach behind his body. And he's out to the 25-yard line for a Broncos first down.
This is a really nice catch. I want you to see at the top of this, he's going to be moving in the opposite direction. He's got to reach back against all that momentum generated by his route and is able to concentrate and make the catch. Good job by Brandon Lloyd.
Yeah, that ball was actually on his back shoulder. Came back in the nice grab. Wow.
Lloyd playing for his 4th team. He and Orton were together in Chicago a couple of years back. On 1st and 10 off the fake to Moreno. Orton is going deep for Jabbar Gaffney. And the pass just out of his reach. Marcus Trufant along with Lawyer Malloy on the coverage.
Well, when the Denver Broncos have tried to take their shots down the field, Seattle has been in position. You remember in the first half they did the throwback. They had the deep ball covered, but they couldn't cover Eddie Royal underneath. And again, there's one of those things that's built into your game plan, that you're going to take a shot down the field. Seattle waiting for it in good coverage, high and low.
Go. We have an empty backfield on 2nd and 10. Orton can't find anyone. And he dives down at the 22-yard line. Loss of 3 on the play.
Take a look. Pressure from the inside from Colin Cole right there. A little twist. Able to stay on his feet. Gets up, forces Kyle Orton out of the pocket.
Raheem Brock credited with the sack, number 98.
Kyle not the most very...
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, I tried to search for the word, Goose, and I can't come up with one.
Can't find it. A little different.
Now 3rd down and 13 with 3 wide receivers. Morton has time, dumps it off to Buckholzer, loses the football, and it is ruled an incomplete pass.
Looked like Kyle Orton was unsure whether he was going to throw that ball or not.
Well, he's been a little off with his accuracy to start this second half, and that's one of the things that everybody will say about Kyle is, very intelligent, very good with his ball placement, and you saw the great catch by Brandon Lloyd on the back shoulder coming across the field. This one down, again, catchable. It's catchable, but
Buckholzer never had control. Golden Tate back deep this time. Remember, Walter Thurman had problems earlier, committing one of the 3 Seattle turnovers. Tate's first NFL return. He spins away. Golden Tate is across midfield. And he's finally taken down at the 22-yard line of the Broncos by David Bruton. A 63-yard punt and a 63-yard return.
well, when you have a big punt return, a lot of it happens right at the start with a great individual effort. We've got a Bronco down the field, Robert Ayers, the outside linebacker in their starting defense. But you look at Golden Tate right there. There's the big one, makes a couple guys miss. Now you've lost contain. He's on the edge with a blocker out in front.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the new KFC Double Down. By the Dodge Challenger. Visit your local Dodge dealer today. And by Bud Light Lime. The just right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor.
More problems for the Broncos special teams. They had a couple of big returns last week. Golden Tate with a 63-yard punt return. Seahawks start from the Denver 22 as Forsett is bottled up for a loss of 2.
We'll go back and take a look at Robert Ayers on the coverage. Now remember, he's their starting outside linebacker. He's going to come in right there from the left side of the screen. Quinton Ganther just takes him right off of his feet.
You got to have your head on a swivel when you're on them special teams.
Ayers replaced by Jarvis Moss. 2nd down and 12 for the Seahawks. 3 wide receivers. Mike Williams in motion. Inside handoff to Forsett. And he takes it down to the 20-yard line. Gain of 4. Mario Hagan made the tackle, so it will be 3rd down and 8 for the Seahawks, who drove to the Broncos 1 on their first possession of this game, were forced back by a couple of penalties, and then committed the first of 3 turnovers. Hasselbeck 9 for 16, 2 picks. Ron Butler with 4 catches early. Hasselbeck on 3rd down and 8. Over the middle, Deion Branch, 1st down Seahawks. To the Denver 11, gain of 9.
Good field by Deion Branch getting into that spot, Tony.
I'll tell you what, he's right where he needs to be. Let's watch his route right here. He's looking at the sticks right now, settling down right on that yellow line, knowing that he catches the ball. All he has to do is fall forward. Great delivery of the ball by Hasselbeck.
Did you see the eyes of Matt Hasselbeck, too? Looking out to his left, looking out to his left, moves that safety and allows Deion Branch to get into that soft spot.
Looking off then defenders.
From the Broncos 11 on 1st down. This time Hasselbeck's pass incomplete. Carlson, the intended receiver, Hagan on the coverage.
They just have not been able to get John Carlson involved in this passing game today. Little whip route, go in, up to the linebacker, break out. They just have not been in sync.
Now 2nd down and 10 from the 11-yard line. Empty backfield. Julius Jones split out to the right. Hasselbeck on 2nd down, throws. The catch is made for a touchdown by Ben Odomanu.
Oh, I tell you, This is impressive, Goose, because, I mean, he is just coming out of his break, getting his eyes back to the quarterback. And how many times do we see a wide receiver who doesn't have his hands ready for the catch? Watch Ben Obomanu. Watch his hands just get up right as he turns. Boom. That is really, really nice. That ball was on him quick.
He knew it was coming to him.
For Obomanu, his first touchdown since the 2007 season. Seahawks are on the board. Murray connects on the extra point. A short field following the 63-yard punt return by the rookie Golden Tate, and then Hasselbeck to Obomanu. Seahawks pull to within 10. Good start to the second half for the Seattle Seahawks. Broncos led 17-0 at the half. Murray kicking off. Through the end zone, Broncos will start from their own 20.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
Back in Denver, where Floyd Little will be honored next week when the Broncos host the Colts. Darrell, you were in Canton last month when he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I was up for Emmitt Smith going in, and actually had an opportunity to run into the Syracuse contingent that was there for Floyd Little, who played for my alma mater.
Moreno out to the 23-yard line, gain of 3.
That was a long time coming.
So congratulations to Floyd Little and all of the 2010 inductees in Canton, the hometown of Broncos head coach Josh McDaniels. He told us he grew up 4 minutes from the Hall of Fame, and he was a frequent visitor.
And went to the high school. When you watch the Hall of Fame game during the course of preseason, that is the high school field, McKinley, that Josh McDaniels played high school football at.
For his dad.
Yeah, but there you go.
Long time high school coach in Canton. Moreno followed up, loses the yard. Fawcett Stadium, the site of the Hall of Fame game. He played his high school ball there. Wayne Fonts, the only other NFL head coach from Canton. Long-time coach of the Detroit Lions.
Some great Detroit teams under Wayne Fonts. Helps when you got Barry Sanders there.
Both Detroit and Canton.
Yeah, exactly.
Third down and 8. Orton steps up and throws. Brandon Lloyd looking for a flag. There it is.
Jordan Babineau's got to be careful. He's going to get another flag. He's not happy with the call.
Pass interference, number 23, defense. First down.
Trufant flagged, and then Babineau demonstrative towards the officials.
He's there early. It's a hook and pull. I don't know why Jordan Babineau is so upset. You work hard to get an offense into 3rd and 8. But, I don't think that ball is going to be completed anyways. Kyle Orton was mad at the other end for some reason.
14-yard penalty. Buckhalter takes it out to the 39-yard line for a gain of 2. There's Babineau, who's not happy with that penalty call. And Tim Tebow along with Brady Quinn. Tebow listed as the number 2 quarterback once again. Was on the field for 3 plays last Sunday in Jacksonville.
And it's going to be a process that Josh McDaniels goes through with Tim Tebow. He'll have a little bit of a package put in each week, but so far to this point today, we haven't seen it.
Second down and 8, high snap. Orton to Moreno. And he breaks free. What a move to get away from a couple of defenders. Still on his feet. Moreno is inside the 25 and finally tackled by Earl Thomas at the 16-yard line of the Seahawks. 45 yards for Noshawn Moreno.
Well, this is just a great effort by Noshawn Moreno, because this should be stopped for probably negative yardage. Again, we saw Colin Cole do it in the first half. He does it again. He reads the screen. He's down the line in pursuit. He misses the tackle. And then Noshawn Moreno has got some guys out in front, does a great job of running after the catch at that point. But that should have been stopped for, if not no gain, possibly even some negative yards.
We got to give a little shout out to J.D. Walton, too, man. I'll tell you, as a rookie center, he got downfield and made a great block for him to go and spring down.
And here's Eddie Royal Goose, tackled by Will Herring. Career-long reception for Moreno. He's a bit winded. 112 total yards for the second-year back out of Georgia. Told us Walter Payton was his favorite player as a youngster growing up in New Jersey.
That's a good guy to role model after, huh?
You ain't kidding.
Wow.
Got a little Walter Payton in him on that last play. Second down and 6. From the Seahawks 12.
54 is the line. 54 is the line. 180.
Up the middle, it's Buckhalter. Spins down to the 11. Gain of 1. Colin Cole along with Lofa Tutupu.
The big difference from last week to this week, in my opinion, for the Seattle defense, they haven't been able to make that big play to slow Denver down. Last week against San Francisco, they were able to hold them to field goals and come up with some big stops. They haven't been able to. They had an opportunity there on a couple of occasions during the course of this drive. They have a penalty on 3rd and 8. Then they have the screen snipped out and they let it go for 45 yards. So just no big plays by the Seahawk defense to this point.
3 wide receiver set, 3rd down and 5. Orton throws and taking it down to the 1-yard line, the tight end, Daniel Graham. So Graham picks up a first down, setting up 1st and goal on the 1.
Well, he's having some great throwing lanes to work with too, Kyle Orton. Just a simple little out route right there, pitch and catch. But his offensive line is doing a great job in protection. Look at the vision he's able to have down the field. There's nobody in front of him when he's throwing the ball.
Yeah, they are doing a great job of clearing lanes. The guy comes upfield, clear it open so he has nobody in front of him like he's going out there.
3 tight ends on the field, Goose. The handoff to Moreno. He takes it toward the goal line, and he is stopped short. Brandon Beebe, the first Seahawk to make contact, along with David Hawthorne.
Looks like the Seattle Seahawks are right now, so far, keeping that beef on the line of scrimmage like we talked about earlier, Dow.
Yeah, I think this one you're gonna get a couple of runs, but the big question will be if Josh McDaniels elects to come in with a different personnel group down here, do they match with him and take those big guys out?
2nd and goal. Moreno. And he's wrapped up by many of those big guys, Goose. Colin Cole, along with linebacker Aaron Curry.
So now you're looking at the sideline right now. Here comes Brandon Lloyd and Jabbar Gaffney. They're waiting to come on the field. And we'll see what happens. Now they're coming back off, so we're going to stay with this personnel.
Oh, he had 2 runs. As you see right here, both of them didn't get in. Nice job by that defensive line going to getting penetration.
David Hawthorne, number 57, the linebacker. I mean,
look at all those guys.
Yeah.
Look at that pile.
But he makes the initial contact to stop Noshawn.
Wouldn't be surprised play action.
Nope. Here's Moreno, dives, and he crossed the plane. Touchdown, Noshawn Moreno.
Couple of really nice individual efforts during the course of this drive by Noshawn Moreno, and here's another one right here as he stretches out to break the plane, because Seattle again has this bottled up pretty good. Watch the stretch right before the hit.
That's a great job.
Who was that was just a step late? Colin Cole, was he just a step late? Was that big number 90 who got there literally a half a second late right after Noshawn had stretched out, and then he drove him back?
Second touchdown of the season for Moreno, who led all NFL rookies in rushing yards a year ago. Trader, the extra point. The 3rd drive of at least 80 yards by the Broncos. Back up by 17. Broncos lead 24-7. Weekdays make lunchtime your prime time with lunch with benefits on FoxSports.com. Watch one-of-a-kind sports shows online from your computer Monday through Friday at 1 Eastern. Tomorrow, it's the after party with the Glaze, Jay Glazer, as he chats with the biggest performers from today's games. Get ready for another helping of Lunch with Benefits on foxsports.com. Another kickoff goes through the end zone. So the Seahawks, trailing by 17, will start from their own 20-yard line.
Not a lot of opportunities for that Seattle offense. You see there only 5 possessions so far in the game. We're 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 23 plays, but those 2 drives end with interceptions. Only 3 chances in the first half. You got to throw away that kneel down at the end of the half because remember, Walter Thurman fumbled that punt return that allowed Denver to get a touchdown.
First and 10 for the 20-yard line for the Seahawks as Hasselbeck finds his man, Golden Tate. Tate with a big punt return earlier. This is his first NFL reception, and he is finally brought down at the 28-yard line after gaining 52 yards.
You know what, but Golden Tate learned a very valuable lesson by being made inactive last week. Ben Obomanu got the nod because of what he does on special teams. The message was received by Golden Tate. You can see the big play potential that he has. The punt return, this big catch and run, but he took some things for granted. He was drafted in the second round, a high pick, thought he had some chances. He was not precise with his route running, and that's one of the reasons he was inactive last week.
Now Hasselbeck looking for Deon Butler in the end zone. Second and 10 coming up.
He came back to practice this week, had a nice week of practice, and you can see it paying off. And Pete Carroll told him, hey, we want to have you up. We want to have you active every week. We know how good you are on the field with the ball. You can see right there on just those 2 touches. 115 yards of offense.
School record 93 receptions at Notre Dame last season. We spoke with veteran wide receiver Deion Branch last night. He said, I told Golden, you better not ever be inactive again during your career.
No, and you can see why. They know he's got the potential to change the game. He's just got to get more fundamentally sound on the basics.
On second and 10, pass is short, intended for the tight end, Carlson.
One of the things at this level, Goose, it's about the attention to detail. It's all the little things that you do right that really help you become a good player.
Absolutely. You watch Brian Dawkins sniff this out also coming into the screen. He sees it, does a nice job of coming and just making sure that he doesn't go and catch that ball close.
Hasselbeck on third and 10, pump fake, now he throws, hits Forsett out of the backfield. Forsett finds running room, there's a penalty marker down. And Forsett is down at the 20, 2 yards shy of the marker, gain of 8.
Chris Spencer, he just grabbed the guy's jersey. I think it was DJ Williams, right in front of the official.
There is no foul for offensive holding on the play. It's 4th down.
Wow. I saw that from right here down on the field.
We'll keep an eye on him for you, Goose, and see if we can find out why.
Watch a jersey from behind. Grabs. Looked a lot worse down here.
So guys, for the second time today, Seahawks will go for it on 4th down. They were successful earlier, but this time it's 4th and 2.
Yeah, well, we showed you the drive chart. They have not had a lot of opportunities, and this Denver offense has been controlling the flow.
On 4th and 2, Hasselbeck to the end zone, and Deion Branch unable to make the catch inbounds, so the Seahawks going for it on 4th and 2, turn the ball over on downs.
I don't know, Darryl.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Deion Branch going up against one of the best in the business, Champ Bailey. And you waited so long to make your decision that by the time you decided to go with him, you weren't going to be able to carry it down the field so he would have a chance to make a play on the ball and stay in bounds. I didn't like the design of that play in the 4th and 2 situation.
How about maybe kicking a field goal in that situation and making it a 2-possession game?
Yeah, I don't know, Goose. They had 3 chances in the first half. That was only their 2nd drive here with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. I think they're worried about this Denver offense just controlling the game.
Nice tackle made by Aaron Curry. Demarius Thomas, loss of 3, 5th catch. Thomas, the Rutgers, a field goal would have made it 24-10, but as Darrell's been talking about, Seahawks have not had a lot of chances with the football today.
I mean, you don't want to panic, and you know, Jimmy Johnson did a piece on the pregame show today talking about game management from week 1 and a couple of examples of things that he felt were poor decisions by head coaches. I'm sure he's probably questioning that one as well.
2nd down at 13, Moreno out to the 20-yard line, picking up 3 yards as we approach 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. Broncos led 17-0 at the half. Teams have exchanged touchdowns here in the 3rd quarter.
See if the Seahawk defense can get a stop here. They had a couple chances on that last scoring drive by Denver, but give up a big screen pass to Noshawn Moreno and then had that penalty on 3rd down that allowed the drive to stay alive.
Well, you see the time of possession right there for Denver. That defense has been on the field a long time. Those big guys get winded after a while.
And the play is blown dead with 45 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Neutral zone infraction, number 59, defense. Penalty, 3rd down.
Now, right on cue for this Seattle defense. 3rd and 5 versus 3rd and 10. I mean, the playbook just opens up right now. There's so many more things you can do at 3rd and 5 and really have the potential to convert for a 1st down.
I'll tell you what, I just had a flashback of John Elway when he was playing, and with that hard count here in Denver and jumping off sides, he got me twice in 1 game. That's hard up here, especially when you get tired. You got to go and not let mind get a hold of you.
Complete for a 1st down to Demarius Thomas for a gain of 9. And Goose, John Elway is in the building today.
But I mean, there it is. It's a 9-yard gain on 3rd and 5. You know, obviously they probably wouldn't have called that play on 3rd and 10, but it just shows you what happens. You know, the ability of Kyle Orton to steal 5 free yards, just like that gentleman did to Tony Siragusa twice, 1 game. Goose, watch the ball, Goose. Don't listen.
And
absolutely right.
24-7 Broncos. Denver Broncos looking to bounce back following their season opening loss in Jacksonville last week, 24-17. They lead the Seattle Seahawks today, 24-7. As we begin the 4th quarter with Kyle Orton handing it off to Noshawn Moreno. And Moreno gains 1 out to the 35-yard line. Aaron Curry made the tackle. Broncos led 17-0 at the half. Then Obamanu and Noshawn Moreno with touchdowns in the 3rd quarter.
And after that big punt return by Golden Tate, got it down there, and they got it to 17-7. A great response by the Denver offense to go right back down the field. A couple of big plays by Noshawn Moreno and a big penalty on 3rd down on that Seattle defense, helping them out on that touchdown drive to get it back to 17. But I thought Seattle was going to fight their way back into this game. This Denver offense just won't let them.
2nd down at 9. Off the play fake. Orton complete. Demarius Thomas out at the 48-yard line. Gain of 14, his 7th reception. As we check in on the Rams and the Raiders with Kurt Menefee.
And the Raiders benched their starting quarterback Jason Campbell at halftime. Bruce Gradkowski came in and got him fired up in the 2nd half, hooking up with Lewis Murphy for the 4-yard score and a 13-7 lead over St. Louis. Send it back to Denver and Kenny Albert.
You think the folks in Los Angeles should keep a close eye on that game?
Well, yeah, I would assume so. Some extra interest in that matchup. By one Howie Long.
2 former franchises from LA, of course.
Yes.
And Howie's son Chris going up against his longtime team, the Raiders. Correll Buckhalter gaining 3 into Seahawks territory. fact, Howie Long is going to join the broadcast crew during that game, as Jimmy Johnson did last week during the Seahawks and 49ers. Second down and 7. Play action once again. Morton looking downfield. Breaks away from Aaron Curry. He throws, and it's incomplete, out of bounds, intended for Thomas. So Howie Long joining our guys on the Rams-Raiders, and Mike Pereira at our beck and call as well. There's Mike, the former vice president of officiating for the NFL in the Fox Command Center, where Mike has access to all of our NFL on Fox games and will be available for live room interpretation and explanations throughout this 2010 season.
And he was right on that call last week. The big discussion this week, the Calvin Johnson touchdown that was negated, and great to have Mike Pereira to be able to reach out to and get that thing cleared up as quickly as possible.
Third down and 7 here. Broncos are 11 for 14, make it 12 for 15 on third down today, after the Seahawks stifled the 49ers last week on third down. Eddie Royal for a gain of 10.
Well, that's the big difference in this game, and we've talked about Seattle not having the opportunities to really get their offense going. This Denver offense just controlling the flow of the game, and a lot of it has to do with that third down defense, and Seattle has just not been able to get off the field. You look at last week, 1 for 15 versus San Francisco, 12 for 15 this afternoon against this Denver offense.
Now the pitch to Moreno on 1st and 10 from the 40, and O'Shawn takes it down inside the 35-yard line, gain of 5. Josh McDaniels, as we mentioned, acquiring Lawrence Maroney this week from his former club, the New England Patriots, and he told us he's going to use all of his running backs as he planned to do with Moreno, Buckhalter, and Lendale White, but White is on IR. So Maroney, hopefully for the Broncos, will be available next week.
And I'm sure that's a little bit of carryover from his time in New England when they've gone with that multiple running back approach. Always have had 3 good players.
There's Moreno again, down to the 33, gain of 2. Broncos also have Lance Ball, a second-year back out of Maryland, on their roster. A roster that has changed significantly. Only 13 players remain on this Denver roster from pre-Josh McDaniels, from the 2008 season.
Well, it always happens when you have a change in head coach. You're going to look for a certain type of player, a player that fits your style of offense, your style of defense. Josh McDaniels started this process 2 years ago. Pete Carroll is in it this year. Been a lot of changeover on that Seattle roster this season, up until the Monday of the season opening week of preparation.
Third down and 3. Morton complete. Another third down conversion. It's Jabbar Gaffney. Takes it down to the 26, so the Broncos now 13 of 16 on third down.
That is such a great afternoon for an offense. I mean, I can't remember in recent memory a team that was 13 of 16, or a percentage equal to that during the course of a game on third down. I mean, that is just a tremendous job by all 11 players on the offense and everybody who's coming in off the sidelines and all the different personnel groups.
81% ratio on third down for the Broncos. From the 27-yard line, Terrell Buckhalter up the middle, gains 4, down to the 23. Now, you talked about the Broncos' tough schedule. They started 6-0 last year, lost their opener in Jacksonville last week, and their next 4 games will not be easy. Indianapolis, Tennessee, Baltimore, and the Jets. Broncos lead this one by 17 with 10 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and we'll plug on 5 weeks out with Oakland, and that's a tough stretch. And you never want to talk about a must-win situation in the month of September, but when you look at their next 4 opponents and having let one kind of slip away from them against Jacksonville, when we talked to Brian Dawkins, he said it was a lot of the things that we did that cost us that game. And you look at that, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Baltimore, the Jets. If they were to lose today, you're talking about a real possibility with the potential of getting out to an 0-6 start. So this was critical for them to get back on track, to get to 1-1, to get some confidence. Last season, they had 2 separate occasions where they lost 4 in a row. And you don't want to fall into that mentality of, oh my gosh, here we go again. We can't handle success.
Charge timeout, Seattle.
Seahawks use a timeout. 9:17 remaining. We'll be back.
Today's game is sponsored by new Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Turn shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers. By Bank of America. And by Pizza Hut. Your favorite plays deserve your favorite pizza. Your favorites, your Pizza Hut.
Terrific effort by the Denver Broncos today in front of their home fans, doing the wave. Broncos lead the Seahawks 24-7. Another third down opportunity. Kyle Orton is 10 of 13 on third down. Broncos are 13 of 16 overall. From the 21. Orton to the end zone. Touchdown. Demaryius Thomas, his first National Football League score.
I tell you, there's some teams that are going to play Denver. They're going to have to deal with this young man. He's had a breakout afternoon today. And you add him to Brandon Lloyd and Jabbar Gaffney, Eddie Royal. That's a pretty stout group of receivers that Denver's going to be able to throw at you.
I'll tell you what I like, Darryl. After that score, that whole offense went down there and congratulated each other. Great camaraderie on this Denver Broncos offense.
Thomas greeted by fellow rookie Tim Tebow. Thomas missed the entire preseason in last week's game due to a foot injury. 8 receptions, 96 yards, and a touchdown today as the Broncos extend their lead. Second touchdown pass of the afternoon for Orton.
I think this is a little bit of fatigue right here. Kelly Jennings and this Seattle defense has been out for a long time. Demaryius Thomas just goes right by him. There's no help over the top. That was just way too easy.
So the Broncos lead is now 31-7 in their home opener. Prater sends another kickoff through the end zone. He set a team record for touchbacks last season. Seahawks will start from the 20.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you.
Seattle defense has been on the field for over 33 minutes. Look at the last 5 Broncos possessions, 4 drives of at least 80 yards.
Tony did the math for us. 56 total plays on those 5 drives. That's over 11 yards a play per drive, and that was the Seattle defense you saw on the bench there as we came back on air. And, you know, there's Gus Bradley trying to figure everything out, the defensive coordinator. A lot of it just might be fatigue. It's been a long day, and this Denver offense has done a tremendous job on third down. Seattle's defense just can't get off the field today.
Second down and 3. Leon Washington picks up the first down. So you and Tony have both become mathematicians today.
Absolutely. You know, the great
Daryl's he's got a calculator up there. I don't have anything.
Quality education in that from the East Coast schools of Syracuse and Pittsburgh.
That Big East, baby.
They'll give us some third down numbers next time the Broncos have the football. Mike Williams, his first reception today, gain of 8 as we check in with Kurt on the Jets and the Patriots.
Well, not the Big East, but the AFC East being maybe decided in this game. LT, LaDainian Tomlinson looking like the old guy, as in he used to be. 21-14, that set up a touchdown. Jets on top. Kenny?
All right, thank you very much, Kurt. Hasselbeck complete to Deion Branch, the former Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 39 for a Seahawks first down gain of 8. Seahawks in the hurry-up, trailing by 24 from the 46-yard line. 3 wide receivers set. And they keep it on the ground with Leon Washington, penalty marker, as Washington takes it to the Broncos 48-yard line, but it's coming back.
Number 50, offense, 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Number 50 is the right guard, the longtime Bronco. Ben Hamilton started over 100 games here in Denver.
And that's another area that Seattle's kind of had a change from last week. Denver only 1 penalty for 5 yards right now. That's the 7th penalty on the Seattle Seahawks, and they have been untimely. The red zone penalties back-to-back that led to an interception in the red zone. We've had a defensive penalty on third down that extended a Denver drive.
First down and 20. Hasselbeck throws, and the catch is made by Beto Bomanu scored the only Seahawks touchdown. And he gains 19 to the Denver 45. Seahawks with 3 turnovers today.
Critical. There's a chance for points down here. They had first and goal at the 1-yard line. A couple of penalties. Forces them into the throwing situation. Intercepted. A fumbled punt by Walter Thurman. Recovered by Cassius Vaughn. And then as they kept bouncing back, but they could just never get over the hump. Right there, an opportunity back in the red zone. A pass for John Carlson. Brian Dawkins picks that pass off.
Second down and 1. Hasselbeck fires, complete to the tight end Carlson. Hard to bring him down. And he's finally tackled at the 23 after gaining 22 yards. First and 10 from the Denver 23-yard line. Julius Jones looks to bounce it to the outside. But he's tackled. Nice tackle made by Jarvis Moss. Gain of just 3. And Moss remains down. Jarvis Moss, first-round pick in 07 out of Florida, making the tackle on the last carry by Julius Jones. There's Robert Ayers, who was shaken up earlier on special teams.
Good to see him back. He's going to be a key player for this Broncos defense. And you know, Goose, when a new coach comes in, there's going to be a lot of change. We talked about the roster turnover for Denver over the last 2 years with Josh McDaniels, and this season with Pete Carroll. These guys from the Seahawks have to know the situation right now. Pete Carroll preaches about always competing at 31-7. You don't want to be seen on film as a guy who's not busting his butt.
Oh, he's going to be watching this, looking at this fourth quarter to see who quits on him. There's one guy who's not going to quit right there.
For the second straight week, a rushing touchdown. He had not scored a touchdown with his feet since 2005 until last week's game against San Francisco.
And that's just a good job by Matt Hasselbeck, recognizing the man-to-man coverage with the defenders' backs to him. Just pull it down and take off. And you know what? He thought about spiking it, and he pulled off. It's 31-7. That made it 31-13, and he just continued over to the sideline. Classy guy, Matt Hasselbeck.
Here's Olindo Mare. So it's now a 31-14 game with... We'll see if the Seahawks set up for an onside kick. Olindo Mare in his career, 10 for 30. Most successful onside kicks among active kickers.
Detroit did one at the end of the game today to have an opportunity to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not easy to do. The surprise onside, you've got a shot. They've changed some rules. You can't really overload the side. You can see it's 6 and 4. They've spaced some things out for player safety reasons.
Mare pops it up out of bounds. A couple of penalty flags. No more do-overs, of course.
Which is the greatest rule change in the NFL, in my opinion, because I was on the onside kick recovery team.
I never understood that rule.
I never understood. You didn't execute the play properly.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball belongs to Denver at the spot. Out of bounds. First down.
Yeah, there were other situations where they didn't execute it right, and they gave him another chance. But watch this. This is how you do it. You just block the guys who are going to kick it. Jordan Babineau gets taken off his feet by Mario Hagan. He's the guy. He's the designated guy to catch it. The outside guy on this high kick. Well, just, you know, he can't catch the ball if he's on his butt.
Before the rule was changed, you were rewarding a team for failure.
Exactly. I did 3 consecutive one time in Atlanta.
You live to talk about it.
Yeah.
First and 10 Broncos from the 43-yard line on a loss of a yard. Moreno out of the backfield by Brandon Mebane.
Wow, Mebane, you want to talk about getting pressure upfield and just driving your offensive lineman into the backfield. Oh, man, that was a clinic reel right there. He drove him 5 yards into the backfield where there was nowhere for that running back to go.
And Moreno banged up once again. Not happy with himself after losing 6.
Well, he probably saw a nice gap that he could have went and ran into, but he couldn't make the cut because of the penetration.
Placed by Buckhalter from the 49-yard line. Play fake. Orton Lets it go, and Brandon Lloyd climbing the ladder makes the catch at the 33-yard line. Gain of 16, close to a first down.
Another good play fake by Kyle Orton gets a lot of people to bite on this one. A lot of room for the receivers down the field. Kelly Jennings, Brandon Lloyd got away with a little one right there.
Little push.
Yeah, just the Michael Irvin way of generating separation. A little shove at the top of the route.
How about the athleticism shown by Lloyd? He was a Missouri State high jump champion in high school.
We watched him at practice on Friday make some pretty remarkable catches.
He was about a half-yard shy on the first down, so now on 3rd and 1. Buchalter is tackled for a loss by Kentwan Balmer, the former first-round pick of the 49ers.
Lofa Tatupu right there also.
So a rare, unsuccessful 3rd down play for the Broncos today.
Well, it took them till a little over 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to have to make another stop, or just taking some time off. Josh McDaniels has got to kick this ball. I tell you, the way that Prater's been kicking off, might let him try a long field goal.
Broncos will let the clock wind all the way down. And a timeout is called with 3:51 remaining.
Take a look back at the way the game started. Eddie Royal, good heads-up play, rolling into the end zone. Terrell Buchalter in. Ben Opomanu on a really nice catch down there, but the Broncos jumped out 17-0, and every time it looked like Seattle was going to be able to fight their way back in, the Denver offense just made a play. Matt Hasselbeck on that last score for the Seattle Seahawks on the run to get it to 31-14, but 2 critical turnovers by the Seahawks. You see right there, Kyle Orton has been outstanding, not only during the course of the game, but on 3rd down has been absolutely outstanding.
His 4th career 300-yard game. So instead of attempting a 54-yard field goal and giving the Seahawks terrific field position in the case of a miss, Britton Colquitt punting for only the 2nd time today, and a fair catch at the 6-yard line by Golden Tate. Well, tomorrow, CYUSA Today calls Lone Star the best new show of the fall. A con man will use every trick he knows to keep his world of lies from crumbling around him. 1 man, 2 lives, the perfect con. Don't miss the Lone Star series premiere after House tomorrow on Fox. Look at Matt Hasselbeck's numbers today as the Seahawks take over with 3:42 remaining, trailing by 17. Justin Forsett, the lone back, 3 wide receivers. Hasselbeck airing it out. Pass was intended for Golden Tate. Cassius Vaughn on the coverage.
Why not take a shot, huh?
Why not? Well, Pete Carroll, always compete.
That's right.
Don Martindale, Broncos defensive coordinator. He was the linebackers coach last year. Mike Nolan was the defensive coordinator. He is now in Miami. 2nd down and 10. Hasselbeck sidearm complete to Deion Butler. Wrestled out of bounds by Vaughn at the 9-yard line. Gain of 3 for the Seahawks, who won only 1 game on the road a year ago, finished 1-7 away from home. Their only road wins over the last 2 seasons were against division opponents, St. Louis and San Francisco. A win at home last week over the 49ers. 3rd down and 7. Hasselbeck's pass was behind Deion Branch.
Well, the big question coming into today's game was, is Seattle that much improved or better than we expected coming into the season, or did San Francisco just have an awful day up in the Pacific Northwest? I don't know if we still have the answer. I think Seattle is much improved from last season. They're healthy. They just made too many mistakes today. But I think that Pete Carroll has kind of given them a shot of energy and emotion into this franchise, and you know, I expect them to get better. And when Tony talked to him at halftime, he said, hey, right now it's 17-0. The score's not, you know, indicating how we're playing. We're just making too many big mistakes.
Ryan punting from his own end zone. End over end. Eddie Royal lets it bounce, takes it at the 35, and he is thrown to the turf by Roy Lewis. Well, the NFL on Fox continues next week. Most of you will see the Falcons and the New Orleans Saints, or the Lions and the Vikings. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with the Ford Fox NFL pregame show. There was a flag on that punt against Denver.
Go Broncos! Here we go!
And the Broncos will be forced back. Good day for Kyle Orton. 25 of 34, 307 yards. 2 touchdown passes. A guy who continues to get the job done. There's backup Tim Tebow. Orton, as a starter with the Bears and the Broncos in home games, coming into this one, 19 and 5.
Wow. Very steady. Nothing real flashy about Kyle Orton, but awful steady.
On first down, out to the 21-yard line, Moreno. Gain of 2. Seahawks call timeout.
Yeah, and we talked about the schedule that's coming up for the Denver Broncos and how important it was for them today to come out and play well and to get a victory. And also from, you know, the emotional standpoint of just having that confidence. You know, last year they started out 6-0. They had two separate occasions where they lost 4 straight, and you know that can get into your head. And all of a sudden, if you know you lose today and then you go into that really difficult month coming up, you can kind of visit some of those demons from last season.
Last year they start 6-0, lose 4, win 2, and then lose their last 4. To finish with a record of 8-8. Broncos' last winning season, 2006. They haven't made the playoffs since 05. They've had the ball for over 35 minutes today. 78%, 14 out of 18 on third down. On the 20, play fake. Orton's pass is broken up by Hawthorne. He was looking for the tight end, Dan Gronkowski.
It's really that simple, Goose, in a game like this. I mean, it's turnovers and third down defense. I mean, you couldn't get off the field, and then your offense and special teams is giving Denver more opportunities when you're already struggling to get off the field.
Tell you what, just watching those big guys from Seattle running off the field, them long drives really killed them. You know, just took the wind right out of them, and I just think that the Winks defense, Denver's defense, I think did a really good job of going and penetrating, playing that old school like I talked about in the open, you know, against a finesse offense, and they ran to the ball, they did everything, and they're finishing it out.
Time of possession in the second half, almost 20 minutes for the Broncos. 4 drives of at least 80 yards for Denver. Turning point of this game may have been that first series. Seattle looked good. They drive 14 plays down to the 1. A couple of penalties, pick. And then the Broncos wind up scoring 17 straight to end the first half.
Yeah, I completely agree. The fact that you come out and you have something positive. Last week against San Francisco, they got off to a very slow start. The first quarter and a half, they're not able to function offensively. Not the case today. You go right down on the field. You're playing in a tough environment. You mentioned their road record over the last couple of years. Everything there, everything's positive for them. And then they follow that up with a fumbled punt, you know, on the next drive. So just you get yourself in a hole and you can't get out of it, and just one of those days. And you know, I'm not taking anything away from Denver because Kyle Orton in that offense was absolutely unbelievable on third down, and that really will probably end up being the key. Everybody will talk about turnovers, but third down efficiency, the Denver offense, just like Tony's talking about, they just wore out those big guys up front.
3 turnovers in the first half committed by the Seahawks. Golden Tate was not ruled down. He had a 63-yard return earlier, and he is finally out of bounds at the 42. 19-yard return this time by Tate.
You know what, Kenny? I agree. Let's go back and let's see what happens right at the point of the catch here. The knee's down. Let's see if he gets touched while he's down. I guess
got back up before
he got it
touched.
up before. Is that Cassius Vaughn again down there? There's the knee down. Looks like he got it up before Cassius got there.
How about a block in the back right there?
So Golden Tate has shown some flashes here today on 2 returns and a 52-yard reception. And now Josh McDaniels will challenge whether or not Golden Tate should have been ruled down.
Denver is challenging the ruling on the field that the receiver was not touched.
So Walt Anderson will take a look at it, and we head west to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
The Washington Redskins once led Houston 27-10, but check this out. Matt Schaub hooking up with Andre Johnson. Great catch by Johnson. 34 yards on the score, and it's tied at 27, just shy of the 2-minute warning. Kenny Moose and Goose?
Maybe a little Indianapolis hangover for the Houston Texans.
Big win over the Colts last week. How about the Redskins defeating the Cowboys on Sunday night?
Got to finish, though. Saw it last week with them. Plays the last game of the last play of the game.
Well, we'll take a look at it here again from a different angle. Marcus Trufant trying to slow him down. His knee is still down, still down, still down. It doesn't even look like he ever even touches him. No. There's the great angle. There's the money shot.
And again, he was ruled not down on the field, so there must be indisputable visual evidence that he was touched by a Bronco while down in order to overturn the call on the field.
Golden Tate, you talked about it earlier, the impact that he had in one of those critical plays early in the game. Walter Thurman on the fumbled punt return. That switch obviously as Seattle moves forward, they've found their punt returner for the rest of the season.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed, and Denver is charged with its first timeout.
So Josh McDaniels loses the challenge. It was worth a shot.
Yeah, everybody's getting better as the season progresses.
He had 2 challenges, and he can only use them for the next 45 seconds, so why not?
Well, the big thing is the initial angles looked like there was the potential for it. And we saw the one angle from behind, and then you could clearly see that Marcus Trufant did a great job of wrestling with Cassius Vaughn the whole time and actually kept him away from ever touching.
Leon Washington out to the 45-yard line, gain of 3.
Atlanta bouncing back today, 41-7. Wow, that's impressive.
Big win at home over the Arizona Cardinals.
It'll be a good one next week, New Orleans, Atlanta.
2nd down and 7. Hasselbeck's pass is incomplete off the hands of Deion Butler with 2:21 remaining. What is ahead for the Seahawks? They return home, host the San Diego Chargers, and then they travel to St. Louis before a bye in week 5.
And it looks like that Charger team that we thought was going to start the season is back. It's 38-6 right now against Jacksonville. So Seattle, a tough one next week against San Diego. Then they've got St. Louis in the bye week. Chicago surprising at Dallas this afternoon to go to 2-0.
On 3rd and 7, the catch is made by Deion Branch for 9 yards and a Seahawks first down. The Broncos 46-yard line as we approach the 2-minute warning. Seahawks do not get the snap off in time.
This is a 2-minute warning.
So with 2 minutes remaining in Denver, Broncos lead by 17. Two minutes to play here in Denver, where the Broncos have won their last 10 home openers. Seahawks with a new set of downs from the Broncos' 46-yard line. Hasselbeck to the tight end Carlson. And a nice open field tackle made by Mario Hagan does not allow Carlson to get out of bounds. Second down and 6. The snap is picked off by Parrish Cox. The 4th Seahawks turnover. The rookie out of Oklahoma State, 5th-round draft pick with his first NFL interception.
Well, the Denver Broncos got a steal in the 5th round, getting Parrish Cox there. We got a flag on the play right now. But boy, did he jump that one. Trust your instincts.
After the play, Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 32, throat slash, be a 15-yard penalty. First down.
Unfortunately, that is some of the reasons why Parrish Cox slipped to the 5th round. We did the Cotton Bowl with Fox last year, and he was late for curfew on several occasions. And I think some coaches got scared away by his potential miscues, but there's no denying his talent on the field. You can see right there, one of the great things a cornerback has to do is trust his instincts. And I'm sure he's getting a talking to right now by the coach. Hey, you made a great play, but play with class.
With a minute and a half remaining. Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Let's check in on the Jets and Patriots. Mark Sanchez, good day. This is 3rd touchdown pass of the afternoon. A 1-yarder to Dustin Keller. The Jets are on top 28-14. Just over 6 minutes to go. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, so the Jets bouncing back following their loss to the Ravens on Monday night. Matt Hasselbeck, 3 picks today. Broncos with 4 takeaways in a game for the first time since the 2007 season against Chicago. There's Brian Dawkins on the right. Dawkins, Champ Bailey, and Parrish Cox with the interceptions. Great job by our entire crew today here in Denver, led by our producer Barry Landis, director Michael Frank, associate directors Jeremy Green, Darren Foster, associate producer Chirag Devaskar, our technical producer David M. Hill, technical director Beepin Vidge. Studio show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. Dave Corris crunching the numbers with Ben Bulma, Matt Banovic, Ricky Camps, thanks to Lou Tribbiani as well, as the Broncos are going to win their 11th consecutive home opener. And even their record at 1-1, Seahawks will drop to 1-1. Kyle Orton, 300-yard day. Breakout game for the rookie Demaryius Thomas, 8 receptions, 97 yards and a touchdown. Seahawks with a big win over San Francisco last week, but they dropped this one by the score of 31-14. We'll return to Denver and wrap up today's game. A win for the Broncos right after these messages.